in love with my kidnapper.
My dad was a cruel businessman who loved to torture his employees.
Of course.
His secretary once asked him if she could leave work earlier to pick up her sick daughter from school, but he responded, "Ha! Today you're gonna work overtime until midnight or you're fired. Now go back to work, you lazy bum." Afterward, he thought it was funny to make me, his 8-year-old daughter, fire a pregnant woman. "I'm sorry, but you can't work at this factory anymore. My dad says you have to find a new job." "No, please. Just give me one more chance. I have kids to feed." It was
Why begging me? He fired you, not me. Hello?
disturbing, especially when police stormed our mansion one night. They arrested Dad for burning down the factory of his biggest competitor. "Admit it, you set the fire." "Ha! Listen to me, you turd. You have no evidence against me. So let me go or I'll sue the hell out of you." He was also a cheater. He threw big parties at our house, invited beautiful models and made out with them right in front of my mom. I can't understand why she married a man like him. Dad was so hated that I needed security guards to pick me up from school. But at age 15, I got rebellious and secretly walked on my own to a friend's house. That's when I was yanked into a van by 2 masked men. It happened so fast, I didn't even have time to scream.
What do you mean you didn't have time to scream? And how didn't people notice? Really? How on earth didn't people notice? How? It's physically impossible.
"I'm sorry we gotta do this to you. Do you want some bottled water?" It was strange, but I immediately felt safe. He took me to a basement room and said, "You wouldn't understand, but your dad has done something very bad to my family. Now we demand a $1 million ransom for your release." "Oh, I do understand. I hate my dad." "Really?"
Well,
"Yes, he always hired the prettiest nannies for me just so he could sleep with them behind my mom's back. Once I even caught them kissing in my bed. And last
your
week he saw a
bed?
wrinkle on my mom's face, so he screamed, 'Get that fixed or I'll put you on the streets.' Sometimes I wish he was just dead." The kidnapper took his mask off and said, "Huh, looks like we were in the same boat. I'm Chris, by the way." I liked him. He was handsome and friendly. And when I got
this girl is just, she's mentally ill. How can you, hello? He kidnapped you, by the way, but you said, nah, he's beautiful. Have you forgotten the fact that he kidnapped you? Or no?
got cold, I asked, "Can you lay next to me and warm me?" Was it weird?
What? There's actually no way. There's physically no way.
That I had feelings for him? I cuddled into him and slept like a baby. The next morning, he finally told me the story of why he hated my dad so much. He said, "Your dad wanted to buy my family's shop, but when we refused to sell it, he just burned it to the ground. Now my parents live in poverty all because of him." "I'm so sorry." "Well, the money drop is happening today. Once my buddy picks up the cash, he will call me and I can let you go." But Chris didn't get a call. Something's wrong. Yeah, I don't think my dad would pay money to get me back. He probably caught your buddy and is milking him for our location right now. Damn it! What should we do then?
We? You kidnapped me. There's no we in this situation.
Look, my dad doesn't like parting with his money. If you really want it, you're gonna have to steal it from him. I brought Chris to a hidden escape tunnel that led into my dad's mansion. Let's rob him together, 50-50. Deal? I knew Dad was hiding money under the wood pilings in the living room. But right when I pulled it out, my dog found us and started barking like crazy. "Shh, it's me, be quiet." Then someone came into the room. It was Dad. "I knew it. You only pretended to be kidnapped to get my money." "That's not true. You ungrateful little brat. You disgust me." "Good. I never want to be like you. You are evil and do nothing but destroy. That's why no one loves you." Then Chris body slammed him, gagged him, and tied him to a chair so we could escape with our loot. All in all, we got $300,000 US. Chris gave his half to his family. I had other plans for mine and asked, "Want to run away with me and start a new life?" Instead of responding,
300K. No, you have it. So 150K. Really? Really? I don't think that's enough to start a new life. Or is it? I don't know, bro.
He put his hand around my neck and pulled me in for a kiss. Afterward, we fled to a different country, from where I called my mom. Hey, how are you? I'm okay, but Dad is looking for you. He already knows what city you're in. Oh no, I don't want to run all my life. Okay, honey, don't worry. Let Mom handle this. A week later, she sent my dad's obituary. It said he died of alcohol poisoning. I was so relieved, even though my inheritance was paltry. Dad wasn't as rich as he looked. In fact, he was heavily in debt. But I don't care because now I have Chris.
You are a maniac. How could you date a literal kidnapper? Are you serious? I have sex triplets. Help.
Hey, I'm Monica.
Hi, Monica.
And this story is about my boyfriend Neil and how he pressured me into having sextuplets.
Oh,
It all
sextuplets.
started
I can
when
read.
we were watching a reality TV show about a girl who was raising her quadruplets. People loved the show, and the girl was making millions of dollars. After watching a few episodes, my boyfriend Neil said to me, "Hey, if this girl got a TV show because she had quadruplets, why don't you get pregnant with quintuplets? We would have one more kid than her, and therefore become even more famous and rich."
I don't think so.
Okay, becoming rich and famous.
I don't think so. I don't think so. The algorithm is not how you expect it to be most of the time, okay? Okay? I don't know what I'm saying.
This was the worst reason to have kids. I told him he was crazy. I mean, I wasn't ready to start a family, and I never wanted lots of children. Maybe 1 or 2. But he kept going on about how having 5 children would change our lives for the better.
I don't think so at
my
all.
boyfriend Neil just didn't seem to care about my feelings. Did he really think I wanted to be pregnant with 5 babies inside my belly? I'm only a couple of inches over 5 feet, while Neil is 6 feet tall. Where were all those babies going to fit? And if we were going to have quintuplets, I'd have to have in vitro fertilization. That's a very painful process where the doctors take eggs out of my ovaries to fertilize them and to put them back into me. It's painful, expensive, and without any guarantee of success. I told him that there was no way I would ever do that. But Neil just ignored me and continued to pressure me into having quintuplets, saying that all would be fine once we were rich and famous. But I don't think it's good for children to grow up with cameras following them all the time. I want my babies to have a normal childhood. And why would any TV crew want to film us anyway? We're just ordinary people. I tried to laugh it off as another one of Neil's stupid ideas. But he begged me for months to have quintuplets. And I began to
Peer
wonder
pressure.
if maybe it was a good idea after all. I mean, having a big family might be great. And the government gives financial support for each child, so we'd be able to afford to take care of them. Well, one night, I had a dream where I told my boyfriend Neil that I wanted to have quintuplets. It seemed so real and so right. I figured it was my subconscious telling me we should go for it. So the next morning, I told Neil I was ready to become pregnant with quintuplets. He started cheering and got all excited and promised me that this was the best decision I've ever made. But when we went to the fertility doctor and told him about our plans, he warned us that multiple births were very dangerous, both for the mother and for her babies. That's why he refused to help us. But that didn't stop my boyfriend from finding another doctor who we had to pay extra money to implant 12 fertilized eggs into my ovaries. The problem is that in vitro fertilization doesn't always work, so we didn't know how many of the fertilized eggs would survive. It could have been 0, but it could also have been 10, leaving me with decuplets. You can imagine how scared I was that something would go wrong. But at least I had Neil by my side.
Which he gonna leave you?
He told me that in the end,
Maybe.
the only thing that mattered was that we were together. But after 2 weeks, I could feel I was pregnant. But I still didn't know how many babies I had in my tummy.
69.
We still had to wait for our 12-week ultrasound. When the big day came,
Ultrasound?
the doctor took a very close look. He wanted to make sure he wasn't missing a baby. But after 20 minutes of looking at the monitor, he told us he was seeing 5 heartbeats, and we were expecting quintuplets. My boyfriend and I immediately started screaming out of joy. Everything was going perfect and as planned.
Until
And then, things got really bad. After a few months, my belly got so big that all I could do was lay in bed. I even stopped going to the toilet and had to pee into a portable women's urinal. It was a difficult pregnancy.
there's such. So you can buy a woman whatever that thing is. What are humans making?
And then I developed preeclampsia, so I had to have an emergency C-section, and my babies were born prematurely at 25 weeks. When they took me down to see my babies, I thought I was going crazy. There weren't just 5 babies. There were 6 babies. The doctor had overlooked one of my babies during the ultrasound, so we ended up with sextuplets. I guess you can imagine how happy my boyfriend was when he got the news. For him, having sextuplets was much better than having quintuplets. But, more importantly, my boyfriend Neil turned out to be a great dad.
Nice.
Today, our babies are 1 year old, and taking care of them requires my boyfriend and me to work as a team.
Nice.
Unfortunately, though, we don't have our own TV show yet.
At
We
least you
contacted
have
more than 20
our
TV networks,
you have
but
our
none of
YouTube
them
channel.
wanted to work with us. But Neil and I already have a new plan. We will start our own YouTube channel and show our crazy life with sextuplets. We read an article about this 8-year-old boy, Ryan,
Okay.
who is one of the most successful YouTubers in the world, making $20 million per year. And he even has his own line of toys. It's so
Wow.
crazy. I also started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And the more I watch it, the more I want to be famous myself. I know how stupid that sounds, but wouldn't it be
My
an exciting
camera
and
died.
fun life?
Oopsie doopsie.
Well, I guess
But
that
it's fine,
becoming
we
famous is
literally
even more important
at the
to
end
my
of the
boyfriend
video,
Neil
so
than
it's
it
fine.
is to me. So I'm sure he will figure out a way to make it happen. But whether we get famous or not, I'm already happy with how things are. My family is absolutely perfect. So thank
Well, that was a crazy twist of events.